Up next, it's that giant talking stonehead.
Field eyes.
A little more than a year ago, I made a video about the mid-90s Nickelodeon game show, Legends of the Hidden Temple. In that video, I listed the 6 Hidden Temple teams in a power rankings based on overall success across all 3 seasons of the show. This video is kinda like a follow-up to that one, so if you haven't seen it, it might help to check it out before watching the rest of this one. If that video was the Legends of the Hidden Temple Team Awards, then this one would be the individual honors. Inspired by the Legend of Bobby, this is the Temple Run Hall of Fame. A total of 120 episodes of Legends were produced between 1993 and 1995, which of course means that there are 120 temple runs in contention for the Peeled Eyes Temple Run Hall of Fame. I'll be choosing 5 of these runs to join Bobby as my 6 official inductees, but before that, I have one honorable mention I'd like to bring to your attention. While it doesn't quite make my official Hall of Fame, this Orange Iguanas run from Season 2 is certainly memorable enough to earn a nod in this video. This is a solo run, which, as you can probably guess, means only one contestant entered the temple. That contestant is this kid, Ty Mathin. Ty is something of a recurring character in the world of Nickelodeon game shows, but I'll come back to that in just a minute. First, let's see what Ty can do in the temple. Olmec lowers the gate. 3 minutes are on the clock. Kirk Fogg stutters and stammers his way through his lines, just like he always does. He gives the signal and Ty speeds into the temple. Just look at him go. Holy shit, this kid is fast. So fast, in fact, that Ty can't even hang on to his pendant of life, which goes flying through the air and down the temple steps. This mistake actually results in one of the coolest maneuvers ever pulled off in Olmec's temple. As Ty enters the ledges, a phantom hand emerges from the bottom of the frame. This hand tosses the lost pendant of life to Ty, who then immediately hot potatoes it to this temple guard, who nearly caught Ty lacking. From there, Ty is going to put in an absolute shift as he takes the longest route possible to the Lucky Medallion, an approach that pays off, with the top half of the temple being devoid of temple guards. He snags the medallion, which unlocks every door and removes any remaining guards, and proceeds to just power his way back to the temple gate with just 7 seconds left on the clock. A top-level run for sure, made even more impressive by the fact that it's a solo run, and of course because of the highlight reel play on the ledges. So why then is it just an honorable mention? Well, that's where Ty's other game show appearance comes into play. You see, before he was ever an Orange Iguana, Ty Mathin sought to answer that age-old question. That's right, the stars must have been in perfect alignment when Ty was born, because this kid was lucky enough to also appear on Nickelodeon Guts. Jeez, next you're gonna tell me this dude was on the Nick All-Star Challenge too.
Champion Ty Mathin and
good God, what a top-tier childhood this kid had. Well, maybe top tier might be a bit of a stretch, considering how Ty's time in the Extreme Arena played out. As you might remember from my Tales from the Aggro Crag video, the Radical Rock is not for the faint of heart, and in a weird twist of fate, it's actually what keeps Ty out of my Hall of Fame. You might not like it, folks, but I just can't give a spot in my Hall of Fame to a 3rd place Crag finisher. It's just too much of a stain on Ty's game show resume. No way. Can't do it. I don't care if Guts is a completely separate show from Legends. I say it all the time. I don't make the rules. I guess you could consider Ty to be the shoeless Joe Jackson of 90s kids game shows, kept out of the Hall of Fame based on a technicality. Alright, time for the real inductees, and we're starting off hot with a pick I'm sure will be controversial, especially after I just denied Ty a spot. For the first inductee, we're sticking with Season 2, but this time we've got the powerhouse Green Monkeys taking on the temple. This is yet another solo run that features just one contestant, that being this kid, Jason. Jason's run gets off to a promising start as he makes quick work of the temple's first few obstacles before blueballing a temple guard with his pendant of life. Now he's gonna get a little confused here. He's looking around, doesn't know where to go, probably a little scared that another dude in Aztec cosplay is gonna come flying through the wall, but eventually he figures it out and makes his way to the broken wing, with just under a minute left on the clock. Jason's basically got the dub locked up until he gets to the Pit of Despair and decides he's playing on hard mode. He could have just swung across the ball pit and finished with time to spare, but instead, he heads for the ledges, goes down when he needs to go up, and burns precious seconds off of the clock. In what is the closest failed temple escape of all time, Jason's run comes to an end literally steps before the finish line. That's right, I'm choosing to put a failed run in my Hall of Fame over a successful one. Why? Well, 1, because I'm petty, and 2, because of the drama. This is the highest form of suspense, a true nail-biter that ends with a poetic twist of irony. Just as Icarus flew too close to the sun, so too did Jason. It reminds me of that one Orange Iguanas run that I highlighted in the Power Rankings video. It's tragic stuff. Jason had it won, till all of a sudden he didn't, but he still put on enough of a show to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame. Next up, we've got a Silver Snakes run from late in the 3rd season. If I had to give this run a name, I would call it...
Fine, I'll do it myself.
You'll see what I mean in just a second. Annie is first into the temple, and she must have broken a mirror or walked under a ladder on the way to Nickelodeon Studios, because she is going to get really, really unlucky here, encountering 2 temple guards in the first 3 rooms. Imagine getting to be on Legends of the Hidden Temple, making it all the way to the temple run, and then this happens less than 30 seconds in. Just when it seems all is lost, Annie's teammate emerges to save the day. Who is he, you ask?
I'm Vengeance.
Well, not actually. His real name is Kevin, but he certainly is about to avenge his fallen teammate. Look at him go. That's a man on a mission. Kevin pauses to roll up his sleeves because he's about to go to work. As you can see, Kevin takes the Bobby approach and just barrels through the bottom of the temple. He's not playing around once he gets into the dark forest. Boom! Straight through the wall. Kevin with a solid Kool-Aid Man impression right there. That's gonna get him some style points. He follows that up by saying, screw these playground rules, I'm going up the slide and straight to the treasure. From there, Kevin puts on a 22-second long clinic on how to perfectly finish a temple run as he secures victory and a trip to the Palm Island Resort with a whopping 1 minute and 2 seconds still on the clock. The best ever time by a Silver Snakes team. I think we can all agree this emotional roller coaster easily earns its place in the Hall of Fame. And strangely enough, the run that Kevin and Annie beat out for the title of fastest Silver Snakes run just so happens to be our next inductee. Boom, it's June 10th, 1994, and history is in the making. We're looking at a silver solo run here. It's Joel, taking on Temple Layout 11 with a trip to Cancun on the line. Let's rock. From start to finish, Joel is not messing around. Like many successful runners, he sticks to the bottom of the temple, but what sets Joel apart is that he never hesitates. He has a plan and he sticks to it. Now, right here is the most impressive part of the run. Believe it or not, what you're looking at here is undoctored footage of a kid on Legends of the Hidden Temple actually managing to assemble the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. A bafflingly rare occurrence. I don't know what it was about this 3-piece puzzle that short-circuited the brains of children back in the 90s, but eventually, Joel figures it out. And now he's actually going to make another really smart move here by heading back to the bottom of the temple, which he is already familiar with. That's going to allow him to escape the temple with an impressive 55 seconds still on the clock. But what's even more important is that Joel has just completed the first ever perfect run. A perfect run is a successful solo run in which no temple guards are encountered. Out of the 120 total temple runs, there were only 2 of these perfect runs. Joel's triumph here for the Silver Snakes, and our next inductee. Orange Iguana fans, rise up. Now you've got some real representation in the Hall of Fame. Here's your champion, Tiffany. She's had a rough showing up to this point.
What did King Arthur extract from a stone? Blood?
Orange iguanas.
The silver helmet?
Incorrect.
But all is forgotten when you're standing in front of Olmec's gate. Speaking of which, lower that bad boy and let's get Tiffany's redemption tour started. Tiffany takes the slow and steady approach. She's almost nonchalant as she methodically moves through the temple. Her teammate Jamel's like the polar opposite. He's going nuts out there watching her meander through the temple like this. This kid's great. It wouldn't be a perfect run without a successful trip through the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. You'll love to see it. Tiffany gets down to the bottom of the temple and grabs the helmet, which is comically large and awkward to carry. Jamel's still out there jumping up and down. He's loving it now. Tiffany's just cruising through the pit. Ooh, takes a header right there, but she's all right. She keeps going, lugging that big-ass helmet up the ledges, up and out of the temple, where she secures the second and final perfect run. Now watch this. This might be the best part, actually. Tiffany's gonna completely leave Jamel hanging here. No high five for him. She's thinking, screw you, man. I just carried you on my back all the way to the Bahamas, or something like that. We love you, Jamel, but this is Tiffany's moment. However, there is still one spot left in the Hall of Fame, and in my opinion, I've saved the best for last. In my original Legends of the Hidden Temple video, I made a statement that I've come to regret. The Parrots don't really have an individual story that sticks out as being worth including here. Instead, we're left with a purple-tinted montage full of failures and disappointments. I'm sad to report that I have led you astray. There is in fact a very memorable Purple Parrots run, and it's this one from the end of Season 2. The Parrots hardly ever won on Legends, but this run is one that their devout fans can be proud of. Our hero this time is Terra, who, like many of our inductees, sticks to the lower level as she maneuvers towards the back of the temple. It's smooth sailing for Terra until a grown man in a costume pops out and probably traumatizes this child for the rest of her life. It's all good though, she's got a pendant of life, which means the run stays alive. At this point, Terra's gonna do what was once thought impossible: assembling the silver monkey without embarrassing herself. After some brief confusion, she finds the milk bucket and takes off towards the temple gate. Terra makes it back to the pit where she attempts an absolutely electric maneuver right here. A leaping swing across the pit, but ooh, takes quite the tumble right there. Let's see that again. She jumps, kinda gets a hold of the rope, but not really, and then just bang, smashes into the ball pit on some backyard wrestling shit. She shakes it off though, and it's gonna be close. Real close, but with 1 single second left on the clock, Terra crosses the finish line and writes her name in the Hidden Temple history books. Oddly enough, Terra herself actually commented on my first Hidden Temple video where she seemed a little disappointed that I didn't feature her run. Well, if you're out there, Terra, my bad for leaving your run out, and hopefully a spot in the Hall of Fame makes up for it. As always, I want to say thanks for watching and supporting my videos. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. Those 2 clicks really do help me tremendously, and I really appreciate it. There's more videos on the way, and I'm doing my best to cut down on the time between uploads, but that can be tough sometimes. Oh, and if you disagree with me on my choices for the Hall of Fame, well, leave a comment, and we can argue about a children's game show from 30 years ago. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon.